Like it reeks of werehog, and I'm not.
I mean, the trailer looked great. Like it. Yeah. And when I saw Sonic Mania, I thought to myself, we might finally have a second good Sonic game.
I think we're okay. I think we're at the point where we need to admit that this was never really a great franchise.
Nope.
Yeah, actually, there.
Sonic was never good.
Yeah,
it was a 25-year lie.
All right, stop. So I actually haven't seen this video in full because I haven't really watched it in full, and I've always wanted to watch it. So today we're gonna be sitting down, we're gonna be watching this video. So
all right, well, continuing down our nostalgic path this week, 2 new Sonic the Hedgehog games were announced over the weekend at Comic-Con. First up is Sonic Mania, a new 2D platformer with the core classic Sonic gameplay. PS4, Xbox One, and PC spring of next year, and it is reimagined areas from Sonic's 1, 2, 3, CD, and Knuckles.
Okay, so they're not really saying anything interesting here. Just talking about Sonic Mania. And so I was gonna fast forwarding it a bit and then seeing if anything interesting pops up in this conversation.
The 2D one's far more interesting to me. The broody, grimdark, save the world other one, like it reeks of werehog, and I'm not.
I mean, the trailer looked great.
All right, so they've started. So what did it say? Gloomy, werehog. Let's think. Okay. I'm gonna try look at it at an objective point of view. I don't know how popular Sonic Unleashed was back in like 2008. Maybe it was somewhat popular, and then right now when was this video made? So I don't know how popular Sonic Unleashed still was in 2016. So I couldn't really tell you, if this comment was actually worth noting. But one thing I do need to say is when people look at the werehog, they always know it's attached to at least Sonic Unleashed. Like I'm gonna assume people, not even like Sonic fans, but people regular, no, I wouldn't say regular, but like casual gamers, they know this. So I guess that's probably what's coming into his mind here. He's thinking, oh, Sonic Unleashed is 3D Sonic 3D, gloomy. That game was gloomy somewhat.
When I saw Sonic Mania, I thought to myself, we might finally have a second good Sonic game.
All right, so the second good Sonic game. Well, I wonder what his number 1 Sonic game is. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, so there was a good.
Was there a first?
Yeah, was there a first?
Sonic CD.
Now listen, I'm not gonna sit here and lambast him. Everyone has their own opinion, so I'm not gonna. While I don't like Sonic CD that much, I think it's okay. Like a nice 5 out of 10. I want to say it's the first, but then again, I also am not going to criticize this guy because clearly this guy he likes different games compared to everyone else.
So people seemed excited about this Sonic Mania announcement, but I don't know. People seem to have forgotten that not too long ago there was Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Yep.
It was released episodically.
Had 2 episodes.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty mediocre.
So Sonic 4 Episode 1. I think the reason why people are looking at Sonic Mania, I'm trying to put my head in the perspective of when Sonic Mania came out, right? So when Sonic Mania was coming out, the last, I think, 2D Sonic game, like side-scrolling 2D platformer Sonic game, was Sonic 4, Episode 1 and Episode 2. And maybe I like Episode 2 at least much more than Episode 1. I haven't played Episode 1 yet, but I like Episode 2. But we can't lie, they were pretty games. Like, if we're looking at the grand scheme of the Sonic franchise, them games are like a solid... Well, it varies, but those two combined are probably like a solid 4 out of 10. They're not that great, so... Okay, so I can already see in this video there's going to be some skepticism about how Sonic Mania is going to be, especially when you look at the fact that Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2 were the last side-scrolling games. However, he did say Sonic Mania is going to be his second favorite Sonic game, so that's worth noting.
Generations, which was predominantly 2D, had some 3D stuff in it, but like, I think we're... Okay. I think we're at the point where we need to admit that this was never really a great franchise. And that we keep trying to find this thing that was never really actually there.
Sonic was never good.
Yeah, it was a 25-year lie.
Here we go. Okay, so Sonic was never good, 25-year lie. Now, I can kind of see his point where he's talking about we can keep convincing ourselves that this is a great... I can kind of see it a bit because... Especially with a lot of Sonic fans, right? Certain Sonic fans, but then again, these are the elitists. They will swear up and down that this is literally the greatest franchise of all time. Nothing's beaten, nothing can ever top it. It's done so many innovations, so many blah, this, that, and the other. So if you look at the mainline Sonic games, I'd say maybe half of them are Sonic successes. So maybe not half of the games, but there's at least enough where it doesn't always have to, where it doesn't show that it's a perfect franchise. As a Sonic fan, I wouldn't sit here and say myself that Sonic's track record is the best compared to a lot of other franchises. Like, its consistency isn't really that strong when compared to like Mario, even the side games, if I was to compare Mario side games with Sonic side games, that's a different park in its own. So I can see what this guy's saying about, 25 years, we can convince you guys ourselves. But then again, Sonic was never good. Like, never, not once. And this is from 2016 as well. This is not from like 2023 and we look at everything. 2018 there was no games. It's from 2016 where I don't think there was any games that came out. Maybe the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, which is but I can't really sit here and say never good. Same with the 25-year lie. 25-year lie.
Also, the reason is they all want to have sex with Big the Cat.
That's true.
That is still the reason.
I mean, shoot.
Well, when people picture Sonic, they're picturing Green Hill Zone. And you're zipping around and going over loops, and in Sonic 3, there's a big ship, and it's awesome. And they're forgetting the back half of the game that's like very tedious and boring.
And the terrible boss fights, and the spikes, the bottomless pits.
So I kind of agree with that point when, as a kid, when you imagine Sonic, you just think, oh, he's got to go fast. But then when you get older, now granted, I don't want to say tedious. Maybe if you're talking about Sonic 1, then it can be pretty tedious. But with a lot of the other games, I'm not going to say they're perfectly laid out, but like let's look at Sonic 2. It's laid out pretty damn well, especially for the kind of game it is. It's using momentum well, it's using the spikes, bottomless pits well. You have to actually look where you're going. You have to look. You can't just jump into anything and think, oh, I can do it. But you have to actually consider, okay, if I jump here, I have to be aware there's an obstacle right over here, and I have to jump over that. And then I scroll down this hill, and there's momentum. I can build up speed. I can collect these rings. Like, you have to actually think about these things. I don't know why these guys are making it sound like you just run and then like it's always puzzle.
I feel bad for Sega because Sonic is their number one is their biggest franchise ever, and they've been chasing this ghost for decades now.
It is fascinating.
All right, so chasing this ghost again. I have to always consider the timing because this is 2016. This isn't like 2008, 2009 where it's like the really deep ends. This is when Generations came out at that point 5 years ago. I mean, Sega All Stars Racing Transform came out 4 years ago from 2016. Sonic was in Smash Bros. I think they announced a movie coming soon. So I want to say they were chasing a ghost because they really had a gold mine, and they were just milking it for what it's worth. Same with Mario. Same with Nintendo for Mario. They're just milking the cow because it still pumps milk. So why just give up on it now?
I think the difference was within 5 or 6 years of the release of those games. And Sonic 1 is a non-issue. It's a terrible game. Sonic 2, I think, and Sonic and Knuckles have redeemable aspects. Within 5 years of those games, you could play Sonic 2 and you could play Super Mario World in the same afternoon, and you realize which one aged better. And you fast forward to now, 20-something, 30, whatever, how long it's been. Super Mario has just aged better.
I mean, I can understand his point a bit. If you look at the core concept, the core mechanics, and you compare it to Mario versus Sonic, in terms of versatility, even though that's not what he was talking about if it aged well or not, Mario would obviously age better because he's an all-around he doesn't run at a crazy speed. He doesn't do any crazy abilities. All he does is he jumps high. That's it. So you look at that, he runs normally. They can always add in new elements to the game. Like they can always add in a Cappy. They can always take him to the galaxy and then utilize him there. Sonic's just more restricted than Mario, and I'm going to make a video as to why Sonic had a rockier transition into 3D. But if we look at the core concept, obviously, Mario's going to be more versatile. Sonic is he runs fast. That's really the core of his character. He runs fast. So it's like you have to find things that work with it while also keeping the momentum of him running fast. If you look at what's more important to Sonic, it's about that he runs fast. That's his core character. You build up momentum so you can keep going fast. So there's not really a whole lot to do with Sonic, and I'm glad that they're finally knowing what to do with him, at least in Frontiers, where you put him in an open setting, you can actually add more things into the open mode. And I've talked about what's improving Sonic Frontiers. If you want to see that video, it's going to be up here or wherever the card is. And I'm probably going to make a new video since I've come up with new ideas. But yeah, that's really it. Sonic just has a restricted core concept, and Sega have just been struggling time and time again to find a suitable playstyle for Sonic, and they're finally finding it now, at least what it sounds like. Would I say it's better though? I probably wouldn't. I mean, Sonic 2 is still a very fine game today.
It just never was that great. We're gonna get a lot of hate.
I don't know why many Sonic fans really jumped at this video. It's really nothing at the end of the day. In conclusion, these guys revolutionized having a bunch of people sitting down and talking about stupid things. If only they made it a podcast, then they'd really be selling the mark. It was a pretty nothing video. I don't know why people got so up in arms about it when it came out. Because I think it's really nothing. They're not really saying anything. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I'm gonna be off. So see ya.